This is the UFO Reporting Center in Seattle, Washington.
Yes.
And your wife was telling us this morning that you had quite an experience.
Yes.
I wonder if we could get your rundown on it right from the beginning.
Well, went hunting alone in New Mexico, which you're not supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
And went down in this canyon. And I stayed too long in the canyon. This is the first trip to New Mexico.
I see.
And when I came out of the canyon, I didn't go far enough. And as dark as it got so quickly, I more or less got turned around and I went in the opposite direction. And I kept walking, and I figured I'd cross a fence line or a road. And, well, I didn't. And I kept firing warning shots, pretty rapid fire.
Right.
Somebody either going to hear you and fire one shot to home you in. Well, I seen some light. It flashed. It flashed about, 15, 20 seconds apart, and I figured, well, it was bright enough to be a beacon for airport.
Yes.
Okay, but I was a heck of a long ways from it. But I started going to it because I was lost and I was scared as hell. And I kept going and kept going and kept going. And naturally the light, kept coming up on the light. And when I got up there, a little ways, before I got to where I finally stopped at, I kept thinking in my mind, they ain't no damn airport here. Not where I'm at. But maybe it's a ranger anyway, or a game warden.
Yes.
Heard me shoot. So I went on, and I got to this little knoll, and this big light looked like a beacon that was coming across, and there were several other lights in the area. And I heard this Jeep coming, and the Jeep was running full speed across this mesa. This mesa is about 3 miles in diameter. Well, I fired my gun, and they shined the spotlight on me, and they was flashing the spotlight all over the area, but they wouldn't stop. And I kept shooting and screaming at them, and they wouldn't stop. But the Jeep, evidently, they had seen them too, and they were just getting out of there. Well, anyway.
About what time was this, do you recall?
Oh, this was about 11.
Okay.
10:30, 11. Well, yeah, about 10:30, 11. It could have been around 9. Well, anyway, I tried to see where the Jeep went. Thought maybe he went to a road. I could follow the road back. And I went back the way the Jeep went. He passed behind me, and I went back the other way where the Jeep was going. And I stopped because he was just definitely gone. He wouldn't have stopped for nobody. And then a light come on. I guess it was he must have been, I'm saying half a mile from me. And I didn't even know he was there. And he turned this light on. And so I didn't know what it was, but I knew it wasn't anything that I've ever seen before because the light was a big rectangular light. I did not look directly in the light. And it put out a glow like a fog.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't a sharp light like a headlight.
Was it quite bright?
Yeah, but it was a soft light.
Uh-huh.
But it was, it looked like a big fog. If you chopped off a big rectangular section of fog, that's the way it looked. He was shining the light through it.
Yes.
Okay. So I started looking at the other objects that was around. I counted 8 on the ground, the first one I counted. And the light would pass and sound like, when it would hit the bushes, it sounded like wind. When this light would hit the brush.
Yes.
But it didn't affect the brush like wind affects it.
Well, now, could I stop for a minute?
Yeah.
You say that when the light was going around, was there some kind of a shaft of light being shined around?
Yes, this was something like a searchlight. If it, you seen these searchlights they use for advertising?
Right.
Yeah. Well, that was a type of light, but it was a rectangular light.
I see.
And I just guesstimating it was as far away as he was. It could have been a 4x8. It was that big.
Uh-huh.
Well, when the light come around the first time, I got down. I don't know why I got down, but I got down. And I still had my rifle with me, but I used the rifle. I figured, well, hell, if he's going to move this light around, I might be able to spot me a deer out there. And that's when I seen the bushes shake. It's when the light was on it. I did not look directly in the light.
Yes.
And I looked through the scope. Now, it would take this brush and it would just shake it. And when the light would pass by, the bush would stop. And it would do the grass the same way. It would just take it and just shake it. Not blow it down like the wind does. It just shake the grass and shake the bush. And when I was watching them, I watched the other one across the mesa. There was one that had a revolving light right on the porch. And I looked at it, and the light was rolling in a counterclockwise direction. I'd actually make out that. And I've got a good scope on my gun. I got a Leopold. And I could see every detail at all on that light. And it would flash blue, red, and green. And the light, all you could see on it was 180 degree slaughter.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't see the full 360 degree like you look at a regular light bulb. And it would roll in that counterclockwise direction.
And that was on the ground also?
It was on the ground also.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I was confused. I was damn scared. And in the meantime, this other light kept moving back and forth. And I noticed he was only moving 180 degrees. And I didn't know which way to run. And I built me a fire right there. And when I built the fire, I looked up, and in the sky, they could make like a little antenna that'll appear in mid-space. I'd say it's a rectangular antenna. Now, there's no wires attached. It's just projected in mid-space. It has blue, green, and little red lights in it. It looked like a grid. And they just, right there, just twinkling. I've never seen nothing like this before in my whole life. It's just suspended in midair, nothing. It just appeared.
Do you have any estimate of altitude on that?
Oh, that damn thing wasn't over 30 feet from me.
Okay.
And, it was probably 25, 40 feet in the air.
Uh-huh.
And this thing was just right over the top of it. If you had a rectangular board, and you could take the board, and you could just turn it any position you want to, that's the way they did it. And the one that drove me was just looking straight down. It was flat. And I didn't know what the hell it was. I was talking. I was so scared I was talking to him. I told him, leave me alone. I wouldn't want to do him no harm. And I just thought I'd look at it with the scope on my rifle. And I looked at this thing, and you couldn't see these little flickering lights, blue, red, and green little lights in it. When you put the scope on it, you could look right through it, and what I had seen was amazed the hell out of me.
Uh-huh.
It looked like a road flare. A road flare burning with two wings on it. It just sat there, and you take the scope away, and the little grid would stay right there. If you put the scope on, you'd come up with a road flare. Real weird. But it was just, you couldn't see the road flare with your naked eye.
Right.
But the scope would look right through it, and in the center of that thing, it looked like a road flare. And it would disappear, and then it would reappear at a different location. And at times, it'd have 2 or 3 at different places, as if they were watching. Only thing I could figure out, it might have been a closed-circuit TV, and maybe sound transmitter. I don't know what it was. But I figured it was an antenna. And I was burning a fire at this time. And I watched these things all night long. At one time of the night, they'd flash a picture like a face in the sky. And I could draw that face. And it would appear, and it would appear white-colored light. And then they would flash another one. Now, what I mean by flashing, it would disappear in the sky.
Just as though it was being projected right into the atmosphere?
Right.
Uh-huh.
And it looked like like these little lights where you put, say, several in a motel. Lights, you know, that blink.
Right.
Yeah, looks like a burnout neon. That's what it looked like. And it just projects right there. It had a face on it. And then it would disappear, and then another one would come up, and it was a W. But it had a border around it, plus some other markings in it. And they appeared at several different times during the night. Twice, I don't know what, I can remember real clearly. And then, the only time I've seen actual landing lights on the craft is when one was coming in, and it was on the circular on the bottom. They were lights on the bottom. But after we touched down, they'd turn them off. That's the only time I've ever seen that. I could see no landing gear or nothing on it. Also, on this one big craft, I could see colors on it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It looks basically like a band going around the middle of it. Now, this band must have been at least as far away as I was, 8 foot wide. And the band had something like a picket fence going through it. And these, not like a picket fence. You know, you've seen a diagonal type fence, like a Z-bar type?
Right.
And these panels were red with a white background. And these Z-bars all the way around this craft.
Now, this was moving around on the horizontal?
No, this was stationary. This dude was stopped.
Uh-huh. But what I mean is the band was around on the horizontal, not on the vertical.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Now, I never thought I'd ever believe, but when these things took off, I watched these things all night till sunrise. They would lay on their edge, and they'd go about 300 feet, and then they'd lay horizontal with the ground.
Right.
Then he'd start this panel up. The panel would turn white first. Then it would go to a pastel blue, to a pastel green. And then the longer he stayed there, it started to come to a pastel white, but a fall white. And the longer he sat there and run that thing, this white would engulf the craft. You could just watch it spread from top to bottom.
Uh-huh.
And then he'd just move off, and he didn't make a bit of sound or anything on leaving or anything like that. They'd run one sound pattern while I was there, two sound patterns. And one was a great big whooping, and the other one was just a plain sound, straight pass. And they was running that to another ship over there. They was running them back and forth, different sound patterns. But that's the only noise they ever made that I've seen. Let's see, what else? Well, each one of these crafts took off on their edge, one at a time.
This was daylight when they started doing this?
No, they started probably pulling out around 3:30.
Uh-huh.
3 to 3:30. And the last one, most likely, I guess it must have been a 4 to 5. But he pulled out, and he sat up there, I guess he was about a half mile or a mile up. And he sat there with the dawn coming in. And he just sat there, and I just watched the heck out of him.
Could you see a solid surface on this?
Sir?
Could you see a solid surface on the last one?
Oh, yeah, right. He was just sitting there, like suspended in space.
Uh-huh.
There was no cloud or nothing around him. He was just there, just stopped, wasn't making a bit of noise. Okay, he was the last one to leave. Before he left, he must have been a control ship over this, or something, because there's one in the sky, and he looked like a bright star. But there's only one thing that was different. There was a light beam going up and a light beam coming down. And it just more or less like you could see two light beams. And it was going right to the star. It was not going past the star. And they were coming right down to this ship, the last one to leave.
Now, was the star in the sky, the star-like thing in the sky, was that quite large?
Well, it was bright.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't tell how big it was. But there was a light beam coming down, I assume, and one going up, because there were two light beams. And they looked like a beam as if you would take one of these advertising signs and shine one up and shine one down. And that's how bright they were. They appeared at, about halfway through this mess. I'd say probably around 1 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And then they were just gone. The beams were gone.
Okay, were those beams through this whole thing only directed onto the one craft?
Only on that one craft.
Right, okay.
I didn't see it directed on any other craft.
Okay.
And if I told you how I got out of there, you wouldn't believe me.
I'd like to hear about it anyway.
These little, you probably think I'm nuts. these little, I call them antennas.
Uh-huh.
At dawn, when this ship picked up and moved up and just stopped, there was another antenna appeared approximately 60 feet from me. And I still looked at it with my scope. And the flare, remember, it's got two wings on the flare. It's not like wings of a bird. This is like a regular road flare that just light up.
Right.
And they can move these in any direction, these little old wings. They can be pointing, say, north. And what I'm talking about, the point is the base of the flare. You know what I mean?
Right.
The burning substance.
Yes.
It was pointing to about southwest. I'd say southwest. And another one was behind it. It was pointing southwest. And being lost, I said to hell with it, and I went the way the thing pointed, and I come in within 50 yards of my truck. And I didn't get back to the truck until 10:30 to 11 o'clock. And I'm in very good physical condition. That's going down through canyons and across mountains, and that's not hunting, that's moving out. And I was totally exhausted when I got to that truck. I couldn't have went another 2 miles without rest.
Okay, now was that 11 o'clock a.m. or p.m.?
A.M.
Okay.
And now I don't know how far away I was, but I figured I was going at least 3 miles an hour.
Uh-huh.
And I guesstimate anywhere from 10 to 12 miles. I was past my truck.
And do you feel yourself that they were actually directing you in which direction to go?
Yeah, I did. Because at one time, when I seen them, when I started to see them pictures on the sky, one of these antennas was there, and I explained to them. I said, I don't know who in the hell you are, but you sure got your shit together. You know what the hell you doing. That's what I told them.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they could hear me or not. I told them I was lost and leave me the hell alone. You can do your thing. But I don't want nothing to do with you. And that night I burnt 2 logs. Oh, I'd say about 15 foot long, 20 foot long.
Uh-huh.
All night long. I was afraid to go to sleep. There was the coyotes would get me up there. I could hear them holler, yelling, you go to sleep up there in that mesa, they will get you.
Okay, and you are sure that you did not sleep or lose any time at all?
I'm sure of that.
Okay.
I had to stay awake all night.
Uh-huh.
Now, there was a couple of times that I almost fell in the fire. Now, about falling, though, you know, I stepped into the fire a couple of times, but I'm not crazy enough that I wasn't aware. But I'll tell you, I could close my eyes or look in a different direction or forget about them and turn around, and they'd still be there.
Okay.
You know, I thought maybe you're seeing things, you know. So, you know, the best way to do if you think you're seeing things is just don't look at it anymore.
Right.
Think about something else.
Right.
And so I looked at it, went back there and started singing and whistling and yelling and screaming, hollering help and everything else. And turned around, they're still there.
Okay, now, the last object to leave, you got a good look at that. Was it partial daylight then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fully visible.
Okay, now, in your opinion, would that object be metallic?
Yeah, but it was, boy, you wouldn't believe the engineering in on that thing, though. Anything can lay on its edge as big as it was. and move off without a sign or sound.
Okay, now in your opinion, just how big, excuse me, how big was?
Well, I'll tell you, it was as big as, I'd say it was at least as big as my house. And I got a 1,200 square foot house, 1,400, with a 2-car garage. It was at least that big.
Okay. Did you notice any openings of any kind?
No, I couldn't see no portholes or anything like an aircraft fuselage in it, or any kind of a tower that would suggest that, you know, people could look out. I couldn't see no people or nothing.
Okay. Now, could you describe that last one, the exact shape as you saw it?
I'll tell you what, okay, then, if you took 2 paper plates, you know, the type that's got the ribs in it?
Right.
Okay. You take them and you reverse them. The ribs would go one way on the top and one way on the bottom, but the opposite direction. Okay, then you pull them apart. I'd say that size, I'd pull them apart about an inch. And then you put this panel in the middle of it with the red bars in it. Looks like a Z panel.
Okay.
But it didn't really Z. It was more like an N fence. Like it was N.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't a Z. It wasn't it wasn't an M type fence. It was I guess it'd be a Z type. Lay a Z on its side.
Okay. Now,
that Z that was laying in there was red. And the background on it was white.
okay. Now, how many did you actually see land?
I seen 4 land, but I could observe about 4 more that was already there before I came.
Before, okay. In other words, after you got to the area, there were 4 more came down.
Right.
Okay. And did they seem to be in one particular area, or did they more or less surround the area that you were in?
They was more or less surrounding that mesa. They was in more or less a circular, and I'd say they was, half a mile apart.
Okay. Those projections that came into the midair of the faces, were there any face that you recognized?
Looked like a man's face.
Uh-huh.
It was a triangular type face.
Okay.
The point of a triangular would be at the bottom, and say the head would be at the top.
Okay.
And with kind of slashes down.
Okay.
4 or 5 slashes down. Looked like a face. And the other one looked like a W with a border around the W, like a box border.
Box border? Okay.
And these were all I would say, white-orange lines in both pictures.
Wagon Mountain. Which direction would that be from the Tucumcari?
Northwest.
Northwest, okay.
Okay, that would be, actually, it's about a mile from White Point. That was the area I was hunting in.
Okay.
Wagon Mountain was 35 miles from where my truck was parked at White Point.
And did you see anything else before that day was over? After you had found your truck or was walking out to your truck, during the daylight period? Did you see
No, I
anything
didn't
else?
go towards with that one ship that was shooting up. It was too far away. I was tired of hungry and cold, man. I just blasted out of there. They
Okay.
could have the whole top of the mountain as far as I could see. I wouldn't want to go around and go digging around there.
Okay. What was your opinion of the UFOs prior to this?
Bad. I didn't believe in them, really.
Uh-huh.
But I certainly believe in them now.
Okay. Have you discussed this with anyone else?
Yes.
Any officials or just friends?
All just friends.
Uh-huh.
They
Okay.
thought I was all nuts. So I'm going to let them pass it off.
Okay.
But what was really crazy about the whole damn thing is when I got ready to leave, and those two cameras, those little two antennas, and I followed that. I wouldn't have believed that on a stack of Bibles if I hadn't experienced it.
Uh-huh.
Now I couldn't believe what I did. It was just go. There's a hell with it. Go. You're bound to run into somebody or something. And it cut 50 yards from my truck.
Okay. When this happened with those antennas, did you get any kind of mental impression that that's the direction you were supposed to go in?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel that possibly they were actually projecting this to you?
Well, I asked them for help. I
Uh-huh.
just went for the hell of it. And I said, well, I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm lost. That was my opinion at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, heck, both of them point in the same direction. That's where I'm going. Now, I've never been so, I'd say, fly off the handle and go do something for that like that my whole life. You know? But the way the terrain up there was, it's just out of, when you start down off the ridge, it's just out of one little mesa into thick of woods, and out of one into another one, into a small canyon, then out of the canyon to another mesa, little patch of woods, and you really couldn't get high enough to see where you were, so you really had no choice to do what you did.
Right. Right. Okay. Now, it's been quite some time since this happened. Have you seen anything in the sky since then?
No.
Okay. Have you had any strange mental or physical experiences of any kind?
No. It took me about 3 days to get back to normal. I'm in business myself, and I don't know, it felt like I was driving in a daze when I was driving home. I just couldn't believe what I'd seen.
Uh-huh.
I was really afraid to tell my wife.
Have you had any dreams about this?
No.
Okay. All right, sir, if we could get somebody in there to talk to you, would you give them the time to discuss this and make up some diagrams of these various things?
I'd be happy to have, if they'd be willing to put that on a black background, I could just about tell them just about what it was I've seen. And, I got an artist that was going to draw that for me, but he hadn't got around to it. But I could actually draw those antennas the way you'd see them with your eye, and then actually the way you'd see them with your scope.
Uh-huh.
And I paid $100 for that scope. And I've got the best scope money can buy. And I know my scope wasn't wrong. But the weirdest thing, when you looked at that big, bright light, I wouldn't dare look at that direct, because I think it would blind you.
Yes.
But even looking at it at a glance, you couldn't look at it no more than 10 seconds.
Now, was that with or without the scope?
With the scope.
With the scope, okay.
With the scope.
Okay.
If you looked at it, your eyes started to spot. Once I looked at that and seen what it is, what it was doing, even though there was a spot, and I took another look to make sure I seen what I seen. And I quit looking at that damn light. It would actually mess your eyes up.
Okay. How close do you feel that the closest object was?
Well, I'd say the closest one was the one that turned that big light on behind me. And he couldn't have been no more than a quarter of a mile behind me, but I didn't want to go looking for him.
Okay, now while they were all on the ground during the night, were they all maintaining about the same color and same intensity of light at all times?
No. No, they'd run this big scanning light. Each one would run that scanning light. But they'd only run that scanning light for about 2 or 3 hours. And then they would turn that thing off. And sometimes you wouldn't even see the other ship. Or maybe just one little light on the ship.
Yes.
And the light was on the outside. I could not see nothing on it. I wouldn't even see the landing lights unless that man turned them on, or whoever he was.
Yes.
But the best one I got to look at was the one that just shot the beam top in the sky. Evidently, the other beam come down. Now that's the best one I got to look at because he was directly in front of me.
Okay, now that beam that came down from that light, is that the one that came right to the ground?
No, it went in, it stopped on top of the ship.
At the object, okay. And in other words, there was 2 running from that vehicle up to the one in the sky.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Now, these objects that were sitting on the ground, were they all sitting up on or standing, or parked, or whatever, on their side?
No, they was laying on their belly.
They were flat?
Flat,
okay.
Yeah. I could not see no landing gear on them.
Now, when they took off, did they rise off of the ground a little bit before they turned up on edge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they laid on their side. He was totally suspended in the air when he was on his side. And the edge almost went on the ground. He laid right on his edge, and then he just moved up.
Okay.
Real slow.
Did they go slow all the way?
And he went slow until he laid it back down, vertical with the ground. Horizontal with the ground.
Uh-huh.
And then only thing what got me is that I just started calling it a gyro. I started calling that center section a gyro. The one with the red panel in it.
Yes.
And with the white background. Now, I call that a gyro. Now, that's about the only thing I know it could be sophisticated enough, but it's got to be something far superior than that.
And while all this takeoff was going on, you didn't hear any sound?
No sound at all.
No sound at all. But all of them eventually were engulfed with this corona of light. You couldn't see the vehicle itself.
Right. All it looked like was a comet.
Right. Now, when they moved away, did they go straight up?
No. They went off at a diagonal.
Did they all go in the same direction?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
But then they turned and they headed out towards this other one.
That bright light in the sky?
Yeah.
Okay.
They headed towards it, but boy, it didn't take them long.
Did you actually see them go to that light?
No, not exactly to it, because they're moving so damn fast.
Yeah.
Now, it was a clear night. But you could still see them moving, then after you get out a little ways, it just looked like a star moving through the sky.
Right.
And they just gone.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Masterson, well, we sure appreciate your talking to us, and if we can get someone in there, why, we'll have them call you ahead of time to make an appointment and give them a chance to get some diagrams.
Well, I would be more than happy to cooperate with it and give them as much information as I possibly know of what I've seen.
Okay. Now, do you want your name held absolutely confidential in this?
Oh, I don't care. Everybody knows I'm crazy anyway, I guess. You gotta be crazy to be in business for yourself. No, it didn't make no difference. I don't care one way or the other.
Uh-huh.
But what I tell you is going to be the truth. Exactly what I see.
Uh-huh.
It ain't going to be nothing that somebody dreamed up, because I actually seen it.
Well, That's what we want. We're in search of good scientific data.
But I tell you something. I sure in the hell wouldn't want to fight an army with this damn thing. I've always said, if I ever seen one of these things, I'd shoot it down, you know, with my rifle, you know. When I was up there, I fired my last round trying to stop that Jeep. And I didn't have a round at all, not one shell in my gun, and that's foolish. That's foolish. I had an empty gun. And I don't think a loaded gun did anything good. If they got that kind of unit, they sure in hell know a lot about us, too.
Yes, yes they do.
I'm sure they've got a protective force or some kind of Mickey Mouse deal that could prevent rifle fire at them.
Okay.
I'm not going to sit around and let somebody shoot them up.
Okay.
That's bad odds, 9 against 1. That's what everybody says. It's better to sit by the fire and watch them.
Yes. Is your first name E-M-O-R-Y or E-R-Y?
Yes.
O-R-Y?
O-R-Y.
O-R-Y, okay. All right, sir, thanks again for taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Right. Bye.
Yeah, I was given this number to report some UFOs I saw tonight.
Okay, we'd like to hear about it.
Okay. I was inbound El Monte in a 210, I'm sorry. And I spotted 3. I guess they were UFOs. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. And they were flying approximately, eastbound approximately, about 070 degrees. And at my altitude, I would say that they were probably around 20,000 in formation flight, 3 of them. One in front, 2 in the rear, 1 on each side. And at the speed, they were traveling at a pretty good speed. I would say probably somewhere around 6,000-7,000 miles an hour. And the first thing I saw when I saw them was that they kind of turned blue and then emitted kind of a red streak, and it trailed off for a second or two, and then all of a sudden it burst back in again, and then they were off and disappeared over the horizon.
Okay, about what time was that?
This was about, I would say, about 35 minutes ago.
Okay. Any estimate on distance or altitude?
Well, altitude, I would say, it was hard to judge, not knowing the size or anything like that. From looking at the stars and as to where they were, I would say they were probably 17 to 20,000.
Okay. Clear sky?
Oh, clear sky, perfectly clear sky.
Okay.
And like I say, they were in formation flight. All 3 did the same thing at the same time, as if they were cutting in an afterburner or something.
I see, okay. Can you compare those with anything that you know of for size?
Well, there was other airplanes in the area. I could see them all around me.
I see.
As far as size goes, they were pretty, well, being the altitude, they were not exactly small. I would say the size of a light bulb.
Okay. About how long did you have those in view?
Oh, for approximately 45 seconds.
Okay.
They gave out 2 bursts of light, and that was all I could say.
Okay. Did they have any defined shape at all?
Just a elongated shape. I would say kind of an arrow, like an arrowhead shape.
Okay. Were there other witnesses?
No, I was on the airplane alone.
Okay. Did you hear any sound at all?
No sound, absolutely no sound at all.
Okay. And where did you get this number?
From the Ontario Tower. Yes, sir. I'm calling from the News Register in McMinnville, Oregon.
Yes.
To see if there's any kind of UFO sighting report out of this area from last night.
No, sir.
None whatsoever.
In fact, we didn't even have a call last night.
Okay. We had one in here, which was involved with someone classified as a UFO because it was a two soundless lights, which were followed by 45 minutes to an hour and a half of military jet aircraft.
I see.
Circling and maneuvering and the object apparently taking evasive action for about a 45-minute period, and then another 45 minutes of just military jet aircraft flying over and circling.
Very interesting. Do you have the party's name to call it in?
Yes, I do. We were completely fogged in this area. The only reason that he saw us, it was well outside of town, 8 miles out, clear up in the boondoggles.
I see.
And he where he lives, and he was up above the fog. There's a good source and was in control of his faculties at the time. I've been unable to locate any. I was going to call McCord, but there were no jet aircraft out of Portland last night. They were fogged in. So I've been unable to locate any source of the 4 military jet aircraft, which he said were up there for an hour and a half last night.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we can come up with some information. If we do, we'll get back to you.
Okay.
Who am I talking to?
My name is Jeb Bladine. So if anything might come on, I think I'll probably still make a call to. Or would you normally make calls to the McCord and Whitby and so forth on something like this?
To check on aircraft?
Check on aircraft?
We probably would, yes.
Well, I might just wait and contact you again. What is your name?
Robert Gribble, Gribble.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll if I don't hear back from you, I'll give a call back this afternoon.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. UFO Reporting Center.
Yes, could I speak to Mr. Gibble, please?
This is he.
Yeah, this is Bill. You called earlier?
Yes, sir. We're interested in the objects that you saw in the sky the other night.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we could get a description of that.
They were fairly high altitude, so basically all it was is just a very, very bright light and more of a circular, shape to it. Seemed like when I saw it cross, I could see a little bit of a light, whether it might just have been a light, from trailing from the speed it was traveling at. It looked like there was a smaller light towards the back of it.
Uh-huh.
But it was at a fairly high altitude, and it was a very bright light. Looked like almost like a landing light or something. When you're at a close distance to it. So it was that bright. So but it was be very difficult to estimate, like how high it was or anything, because
Yes.
it was so bright. But I did see aircraft in like jet aircraft in the area at the time, and I could make out. I don't know how close they were to it, but I could make out all the running lights on the aircraft. It was, like I say, I can't really judge how large it was, or how high it was, just because I didn't know how big it was in the first place. So,
Yeah. But what time did you spot that?
just almost exactly 8 o'clock.
That was Monday night?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And was the object on the move?
Yes, definitely. It was circling. It kept doing it was coming from northwest and circling. I first saw it coming out of the northwest, but it was doing a definite circle pattern.
As it was moving?
At a very high rate of speed.
Uh-huh.
It made 4 passes, and just as near as I could tell, the exact same course. It didn't seem to vary at all. But it was going out at quite a distance to the east, to the northeast, and then coming back through. I could not hear any sound from it. That after I first saw it, then the aircraft came in. Then I saw them. I don't know if it was there before or not. I don't know how long it had been up there.
Yes.
Because I just noticed it. By coincidence, I happened to go upstairs and look out the window and see it. So I don't know how long that that it was visible. But after I did see it the first time, then I could start to see the aircraft, which seemed to be like they were pursuing it or at least shadowing it, and then I could start to hear the jet engines from them. But when I first saw it, there were no aircraft in the area. My first sighting of it was just 30 seconds or a minute, but I could not hear any sound from it. After a point, then there were a number of aircraft in the area, and I could hear them. So I don't know, they were making so much noise, I couldn't tell whether it was making any noise or not.
Right. Did the object itself seem to be evading the aircraft?
It seemed to be sticking to pretty much of a course. It did seem like that it would, that it would accelerate and go away from them. What I saw in my first reaction when I saw it was that it did try to move away from them, and that they were definitely in pursuit of it.
I see.
Our checking around yesterday said everybody's claiming that there were no military aircraft up that night, which is kind of interesting.
Uh-huh. Did the object maintain the same color at all times?
Yes, it did. It was just a brilliant light, brilliant white light.
Uh-huh. Did you see it until it moved away?
Yes, it went out, did its circle pattern, went off towards the east, like almost due east, right towards Mount Hood,
Uh-huh.
and then that was the last I saw of it.
Okay.
The aircraft came back, and after I'd lost sight of the object, the aircraft continued to go back and forth in a, and what looked like they were patrolling the area.
Search pattern of some kind?
Search pattern.
Uh-huh.
The aircraft seemed to be doing like a crisscross thing at one point. But I lost sight of it at about 8:30 or 8:45. I finally completely lost sight of the object, and then from then on, all I saw was the aircraft.
Uh-huh. Okay. About how long did you watch that?
I watched from 8 to 8:45. I saw the object, but then I stayed and watched for until well after 9 o'clock, and continued to watch the airplanes. And then everything quieted down. But at one point, I counted what I thought there were a lot of stars out that night. I live up at a fairly high elevation. It was quite foggy, but it was extremely clear, and there were a lot of stars out. But at one point, it looked like a light show going on. So
Yes.
with so many aircraft going. But I counted what I think was 4 jets at one time. So, do you have an 800 number there by any chance?
No, we don't, unfortunately.
I was thinking that somebody around did have, but I think there's one in the southwest.
There's one in Illinois, but it's confined to police use only. It's not available to the public. We're the only public center of its kind in the country.
Yeah, this is the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. I've never I've flown a lot. That's the first time I'd ever seen it, and I don't think it would even have interested me. I would have passed it off as a meteor or something if I had not seen the aircraft, which I felt to be in pursuit of it. So.
Okay, now, was this object, you saw it come out of the northwest, it was maintaining this circular pattern as it was moving through the sky? I mean, was it circling as it was moving, or did it just maintain a constant?
It maintained a pretty much of a constant pattern.
Yeah.
I first thought when it was very, very foggy that night, I thought that somebody was trying to find a place to put down or something.
Right.
And there's a fairly good-sized airport here in McMinnville, and that was my first thought. And then when I saw the other aircraft moving around it, then I started to get my interest up a little bit.
Right.
They definitely stayed around for a while.
Okay, well, we sure appreciate this information, and if we come up with anything regarding the object's identification, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Okay, if I happen to Is this is your number a 24-hour number?
Yes, it is.
Okay, if I happen to check it again, then I will alert you then.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I would like to report a UFO.
Okay.
I live in St. Mary's, Idaho,
Yes.
and we were on our way home from Spokane last night. It was about 6:15 when we saw it. You think I'm dumb?
No, ma'am.
Anyway, it scared us to death, but it was me and my 4 kids, and we were right between Rockford and Worley, if you know where that's at.
Yes, I do.
And I don't remember exact location, but we seen this light. It was coming from the way we were headed. And at first I thought it was like a light from a radio, station or something.
Yes.
One of those deals. And only it wasn't red. It was a bright light. And the kids thought it was an airplane. I said it was too bright for that. And the closer we got and it came towards us, the brighter it got. And it was getting kind of interesting, and I thought, well, I'm going to pull over there beside the road and see if I can't, we can't get a better look at it. And when we pulled over, the thing came hoovering down right above us. And I never believed in UFOs before, but that thing scared me to death. It just was a great, great big light, a great big dome light on the top of it. And then you could tell it was shaped like, like people describe a flying saucer. Because,
like a disc?
Huh?
Disc-shaped?
Well, it was, I don't know what disc shape is. I mean, it had like a great, a dome on top and then like a saucer thing on the bottom, and there was 2 lights blinking on both ends of it. And I just was petrified, I couldn't, I didn't know, and we just sit there staring at it, and I started to take off down that road. It scared me so bad, and then I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, what if it was something from outer space and trying to get us or something? So I backed out onto the highway. And when I started to go on down the road then, it started heading like over towards Spokane. And there was other cars, and I don't know if they seen it or reported it. They surely must have seen it. And I was going to report it when I first got home last night and call down the local station, but my husband said, no, he wasn't with us. He says, people think I was crazy, not to report it. And then I just couldn't stop thinking about it all night. And the funny thing was, I was even imagining. But anyway, we watched that thing when we pulled off down the highway, and it went over towards Spokane. And then I stopped after there was no cars behind me. I wanted to stop and see if I could see it, And I got out of the car, and it looked like it was headed back over towards us. And then it started over alongside the mountains and just went until we couldn't see it anymore on the other side of the mountains. And then I was scared to death driving all the rest of the way home. I kept thinking every light I seen, I was seeing something, And then when we got into town, there was a light. It looked like it was a ways off, but right over, not too far from where we live, I could see a bright light, and it was there for about an hour, and then I looked out later, and it was gone.
Okay. About what time did that happen?
6:15, because I asked my kids if they looked at the watch, and about 6:30 I thought about what time it was, that it happened, and then said he did look at his watch, and it was 6:15.
Okay, which highway were you driving on?
I think that's Highway 95. I don't know. Oh. I'm not very good. I just know my way over there.
That. Okay, now when you first saw this light, did it appear to be over the highway at a distance?
Over the highway?
Yes. I mean, was it? Were you driving directly towards it?
Well, we were driving. No, not really. But then our road's kind of curvy.
Yes.
From there to here, and really, what it looked like, it could have been off the side. I don't think so. I really don't think so.
And the object, or the light stopped directly overhead?
Yes, because we could see it, and either it was big or it was close to us.
Okay.
One or the other.
Okay, now.
But it was bright.
Do you have any estimate of how big? Can you compare it with anything?
Oh, we were so scared. Can you compare that with anything about how big it was? All I know is that it had to be pretty big to be able to even... I don't know. I really don't.
Okay. Was it as big as your car?
I'd say it was as big as my car.
Okay. Okay, now, do you have any estimate as
How high it was from the ground? More like that, because I just don't...
Okay, now, could you hear any sound?
No, we couldn't. It was no sound. I mean, we couldn't hear anything at all.
Did it maintain its brilliance, the same brilliance at all times?
Yeah, but the closer it got, it was really bright, you know.
Okay. Then you could definitely...
Oh, I know one other thing. But then we got into Whirly. Now, I didn't know whether I was just scared or what, but we got into Whirly, and I was going to stop there and report it at a place, but there was no, nothing open.
Yeah.
But there was something right above the town that looked like, might have been the base of that thing, but the dome light wasn't shining. You know, it was just like, how many lights were on that thing? 4, 5, 6 or something, and they were all different colors, and it was just like right up in the sky, but there was no big dome light, and I couldn't have told what the object was or anything. It was some big bright, not big lights, just like, they were colored lights, and they were up in the sky.
Okay. Did those lights remain stationary
Those
on
colored
the
ones?
object? Yes.
Yeah, it was just standing still.
Okay. And about how long would you say that it remained directly over you until you started pulling away?
Yes. Oh, I was scared. Oh.
Did this give off a glow which lit up the ground area?
I didn't look at the ground. I didn't,
Okay. Did you have any unusual physical or mental feelings while it was hovering overhead?
Just scared, just like I was wanting to take right off and go down that road, and then I didn't do it.
Okay.
But I prayed before I went to Spokane and asked the Lord to watch over us and give us traveling mercy. That sounds dumb, but I don't care. I thought it scared me to death. I thought, what if that could have been somebody that we went down that road and they could have, who knows?
Okay, did you have any problems with your car while this was close by?
No.
Okay.
No.
Were you playing the radio at the time?
No, because I don't like to listen to it.
Okay. And then this just moved away, just out of sight.
Yeah, but it was like behind us going, and I was driving, so I couldn't really watch it.
Right. Okay.
But it took quite a ways before it got out of sight, because I went quite a ways down the road until the cars behind me weren't behind me anymore. And then I stopped the car on the highway and got out and looked myself. And it looked like it was headed back over towards where we were. And then it went and headed back the other way, and we watched it until, then I could see it out my window as I was driving. We watched it until it just disappeared on the other side of those mountains.
Okay, but when it was hovering over you, you didn't get out of the car, did you?
No, oh my goodness, I was so scared. We were so scared we couldn't. I mean, it was just...
Okay, then you were looking, had you rolled down the window?
No, it was right, we could look right out our front window, and it was just like right out, right up there. I mean, it might have been pretty close, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to see it so well, could we?
Okay, were the children in the back seat?
2 of my oldest ones were in the front with me, and my 2 little ones were in the back.
Okay, could the little ones in the back see it when they looked out the window?
Did you see it when you looked out the front window or the side window when we were stopped? You couldn't see it out the front window when we were stopped there. He had to look out the side window, but could you see it good out the side window? Yeah, he said he could see it good out.
Okay, then it was either real close or awful big then.
Yeah.
Okay, and were there 4 children with you?
Yes.
What were their ages?
13 and a half, one's almost 12,
Okay.
and then one that's 8 and a half, and then my little one's 3 today.
Okay. This happened at 6:15 last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, has there been was there anybody else that's reported that? Because there was other cars. In fact, when we got into town, this truck pulled over at this cafe, and I was almost tempted to stop and ask him if he's seen anything,
Mm-hmm.
But nobody else reported anything last night?
No, ma'am. Now, when you were sitting there watching that, and it was directly overhead, was there any other traffic coming by?
There was a car in front of us. a few times because I wanted to pull over quite a few times, and I couldn't find, before we stopped, I wanted to pull over a lot of times, but I couldn't because of the traffic was behind me or in front of me. And so there was a lot of other people on the road, and that's the reason I was curious. I even sat up and watched the news last night thinking that it was going to be something on there that somebody reported, you know, because I really thought that somebody would report it.
Okay, now, but do you remember when you were stopped and the thing was directly overhead, if the other traffic was going by you?
No, we were to the back of the highway. I mean, you know, I pulled off like it was another road going out the other way.
Oh, I see.
But the kids, when we were pulled off the side of the road looking at that thing, do you know if there was any other cars going behind us? Dan? No, when we pulled off the side of the road, and, you know, and that thing was right over the top of us, was there any, did you notice, or was you too scared? Was there any cars going along the highway behind us? When we were parked there looking at that thing, you noticed the car behind us? But that thing wasn't real close to us when we first stopped. I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. And where did you get our number?
Well, we called the information, and they gave us a number, and nobody answered, and then they gave us another number in Spokane at a weather place, and then he looked up a number and gave us this number.
Okay. Okay, we'll get on this right away, and if we come up with any information, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Oh, I appreciate that, because I just really want to know if I was crazy or if we really seen something that wasn't supposed to be.
Okay, and if we're able to get somebody in to talk to you, would you willing to discuss this with them?
Yes.
So we would really like to get some diagrams.
Yeah, I think the kids, you know, and all of us together, because after it left, you know, we were trying to describe it, and we all three described it just exactly how we seen it.
Okay.
It was really scary.
Well, it's still fresh in your mind. It might be a good idea to draw a sketch of what you did see, so you don't forget any of the details.
Well, my little one is trying to tell me the thing, and the one we seen in Worley. The one we seen in Worley, he says, was in the shape of a cross. Now, I don't remember seeing that in the shape of a cross. It was just like some lights up there. I don't even know if that was that thing or not, you know.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. But could that have been the same thing without the big light on top?
Well, that would be hard to tell.
Oh, it just seemed like the thing was following us.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the report.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.